Now you are.
Am I in frame?
No, you are not.
That's real careful.
You are.
Now am I in frame?
Now you're good. You were too close. Okay.
Hello. So I did my live last night on reward, obedience through reward. We talked about loading the mark. So my awesome clients, club members, after we got done, I asked them what you think about it, kind of thing, and I got the feedback of loading the mark, loading classical conditioning a dog. It's kind of technical. I explained it, but it might not have been clear for people. So I had my clicker tonight. If you watched last night, I couldn't find my clicker. It was laying right next to my laptop. So when I got done and ended my live and closed it, there was my clicker. I'm going to use Kaya as my demo dog for this. So it's not really a fair example because she's already classically conditioned. We're out here to train, and you can see like there's jumps and tunnels and tugs and stuff like that. So she's going to take food from me because she's been conditioned to take food, but I can tell you, like, she's not hungry. She doesn't care about food right now, and I'll demonstrate that. I have an entire bowl of dog food. This is her whole meal right here. I'm going to release her to get her meal, but she's not going to care about the meal. So if I have a new dog, what I want is I want engagement from them. I want them to look at me like she's in a downstay right now. Your dog's not going to do this. I just want engagement from the dog. I want them to look at me, and then I'm going to mark them to take the reward. I also have her favorite tug out here. So I'm hoping I'm going to mark her. She's going to take the food and not the tug. We'll see what she does. This is going to be interesting, actually. Here. So my dog automatically pretty much goes into a heel position because that's what we practice. So, good girl. She wants the tug. She's looking at it. So, good girl. And you can see how enthusiastically she takes food out of my hand. There's an entire bowl of dog food behind her. But when I click and offer food, like, boom, she jumps on it, right? She grabs it as hard as she can, kind of, out of my hand. That's classical condition. She's been conditioned to take food like this. It's not because she's hungry or starving. It's because this is where the way we've trained. Fooey, leave it. So this is classical conditioning. This is loading the mark. I just want your dog to look at you. You click and you give food. If you don't have a clicker, you can use a verbal mark. So her verbal mark. Okay. It's the same as a clicker. It's exactly the same. Okay. You can see she's looking at me very intently. And when I say the word, she kind of staggers a little bit. Here, baby. Boy, leave it. Okay. See how she moves as soon as I say the word? Like the word pretty much to her is like she just got the food in her mouth. She feels really good about it. It should take a couple of days for you to get this out of your dog. You can see when I click the clicker, she moves. She's frozen. She's staring at me. She's anticipating. What am I going to get? My dog's got several marks that she's been conditioned to. So, Kaya, I say she's not hungry, but there she goes. So if I say, take, boom, she's gonna go get her tug. So that's another mark of hers. It just means go get the reward away from me. That's the reward she chose. She could have taken the dog food. She could have taken the tug. It's completely her call at that point because there's two rewards out here. And I didn't tell her which one to take. I just told her to take one. Okay, we're done. So, like I said, the dog food's out here, but she doesn't want it right now. So this dog is very enthusiastically just taking food out of my hand, right? So I want my dogs to be a little, not aggressive, but a little pushy is a better word. I've actually trained them to be that way. So like she's kind of biting my hand to get it. I don't do that with pet dogs. If your dog starts doing something like that, like being too pushy, biting your hand a little bit, like we can talk about that, message me. and I'll go over that. So now she's out running her obedience routine, going through tunnels, going over jumps. Like, she doesn't care about the food. She wants to go do the fun stuff. Los. Ah. So that's classical conditioning. That's loading the mark, okay? It's just get your dog to look at you, click the clicker, give them food. Get your dog to look at you, click the clicker, give them food. Just like that. That's it. That's all there is to it. I know you're like, no, there's got to be something else, but literally that's it. That's what you're going to do to load the mark, okay? You're going to do that for a couple of days. You'll break their food out over, if you're going to do existential food, their dinner, you're going to break that food out over an entire day. Like, you're going to measure out their meal, and then you're going to feed them their meal in very slow increments throughout the day. And really, that's about a session. Like, I've probably gone longer with her than I would a pet dog loading a mark, but I would do short 1 minute, 2 minute sessions, but I would do 9 or 10 of them throughout the day. So a couple in the morning, a couple at lunchtime, 3 or 4 at night. No big deal. You just break it out. And then if you have a dog that you bring them out and they don't want to engage with you, they don't want to pay attention, they don't want to, you say the word or you click the clicker and offer food, and they're like, no, I don't want to take that out of your hand. That's cool. I end the session right there and I go put them back in their kennel. So I have had pet dogs that are way overfed, and you'll get this with very, very satiated dogs. Those dogs that have been overfed their entire life. They're used to the magic bowl appearing at the end of the day, their whole amount of food, or first thing in the morning and last thing in the day, or however you feed. They're used to that, and they're going to ignore you. I have had pet dogs come to me and not eat a single bite for 5, 6, 7 days. And then after they're like, you know what, that bowl of food isn't coming. And I know for some people that sounds harsh, but eventually their brain kicks over and they go, hey, like that dog food bowl isn't coming. Maybe I should pay attention to this. And then once they start going, they're like, oh, okay, cool. We'll just eat this way then. That's fine too. And a matter of fact, it's more fun to eat this way, so I prefer it, right? Now, I train this way for starting behaviors and learning behaviors, but you don't have to train this way for the dog's entire life. You move them over to toys after a while and things like that, and we'll talk about that. And then you can do things like jackpotting, okay? You can get to where your dog knows the routine really good for 4, 5, 6 weeks, and then you can just start feeding once or twice a day, and your routine can be once or twice a day, with maybe like some dog food sitting out in the house for like just being Have in the house, just marking and rewarding for just being good in the house, just laying down, just being, you know, silent, not barking, just mark and reward. Anything you like in the house, mark it and reward it, right? And then at the end of the day, ask for some sits and downs and whatever you want to do, and then mark it and give them their entire meal. Then you can just give them their full meal, like whatever's left. So on a dog that will engage for part of the day, but not the rest, so I broke their meal out throughout the day, right? In the morning the dog trains great, and then I get into the afternoon and the dog decides, I don't want to do this, I want to go sniff over here. I just go put the dog up. I give the dog multiple chances throughout the day. It's not like, no, you won't do this, that's your last opportunity, we're done. They get the opportunities throughout the day. Multiple opportunities, okay? It's completely up to them. They can go sit in the kennel or they can participate. That's it. So they get their multiple opportunities, and if they decide not to take it on their own, and they decide not to take it on their own and they go away, so let's say I have 3 cups is what I feed Kaya, and let's say at the end of the day I have a 1.5 cups left. I don't feed her 4.5 cups the next day. That 1.5 cups that's left goes back in the dog food bag, and the very next day she gets 3 cups. So I don't overfeed the next day. So that's important as well. And that's basically it. Bear with me. Right now I have this series broke off into 3. That was series 1 last night. I think I have 2 more series, possibly 3 more series to come. So it's going to be a 3 or 4 part series. It's going to get really, really good. We're going to start diving deep into some concepts and hopefully blow some minds out there, and you're going to go, wow. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. You've done wonderful. Take. that's all I got. So, got any questions, holler at me. Thanks, guys.